Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to get into a huge issue for anyone studying for their state PCS exams: how to actually study right in a world that's full of digital distractions. We're going to break down why that study tool you're probably using all the time might be the very thing holding you back. Okay, let's dive right in with something I call the YouTube study paradox. I know this is going to hit home for a lot of you because it's super frustrating. You're putting in the hours, you feel productive, but come exam day, it's just not clicking. I bet that sounds familiar, right? You've spent countless hours watching coaching videos, these marathon lecture series, all the topic breakdowns. But the second you sit down with a practice paper, all that confidence just vanishes. So we're going to get into why this is happening and, trust me, what you can do about it. First up, we've got to talk about the hidden traps of learning from videos. All right, let's really break this down, and let me be super clear. This isn't about you not working hard enough. I know you are. The problem, it's not the effort, it's the method. It's the tool you're using. So let's look at exactly why leaning so hard on videos can actually sabotage you on exam day. Okay, first big one. This is a real classic trick our brains love to play on us. It's called the illusion of understanding. You're watching this amazing teacher, the editing is sharp, the graphics are clear, and everything just seems to make sense, right? It feels like you're just soaking it all in. But here's the catch. Listening to something is not the same as learning it, not even close. And this right here, this is the absolute core of the issue. See, there's a huge difference between familiarity and mastery. Familiarity is when you hear a term and you go, oh yeah, I've heard of that. Mastery, that's when you can explain it from scratch, under pressure, and solve problems with it. It's like knowing the name of a historical treaty versus actually being able to write 2 solid paragraphs about why it mattered. YouTube is amazing for getting you familiar with stuff, but your exam, it doesn't care about familiarity. It demands mastery. So that leads perfectly into our next point, which is basically the reason we fall for that illusion of understanding. Think about it. When you're watching a video, you're in a passive mode. You're just receiving information. It's kind of like watching Netflix, right? But the exam room, that's the total opposite. It demands you to be 100% active, engaged, in pulling information out of your brain. And this, right here, is the heart of the problem. The way you're studying isn't building the skills you actually need for the test. I love this analogy. It's like training for a marathon by just sitting on the couch, watching videos about running. It makes no sense. The exam needs you to recall, to write, to structure answers, all things that just watching a screen will never, ever teach you. Okay, next up, fragmented knowledge. Just think for a second about how YouTube works. You search for one topic, right? And then the algorithm serves you up another video, and another, and another. It's designed to do one thing and one thing only: keep your eyes on the screen. Let's be real, the YouTube algorithm is not your study planner. What you end up with is this collection of random facts floating around in your head. It's totally driven by the algorithm, not by your syllabus. You get these little islands of information, but there are no bridges connecting them, and that creates a super weak foundation. So when you get a tough analytical question that needs you to connect the dots between topic A and topic B, you just can't. The dots aren't there to be connected. All right, let's talk about the one thing none of us have enough of: time. Your study hours are precious, right? They are your most valuable resource. So we have to ask the question, are videos an efficient use of that time? Let's look at how they stack up against good old-fashioned books when it comes to just pure information. I mean, this chart says it all, doesn't it? Books are just packed with dense, concentrated information. Videos? Not so much. A 1-hour video is usually full of intros, outros, sponsor messages, repetition. You know the drill. Honestly, think about it. You could watch an hour-long video to get the same amount of info you could have read and probably understood better from a book in 15 minutes. That's a huge time drain, and it really, really adds up. Now, this next one is a huge deal specifically for those of you studying for state PCS exams. Think about the most popular YouTube channels. They're trying to get millions of views, right? So they make generic, one-size-fits-all content for a national audience. But your exam, it's not generic at all. It's highly specific to your state. Yeah, you need to know about your local history, your state's specific policies, the regional geography, the state-specific laws. The big national channels, they're never going to cover that stuff in the detail you need. So if you're only watching them, you're essentially preparing a national-level answer for a state-level exam. And that, my friends, is a surefire way to leave a ton of points on the table. So when you add it all up, the illusion of understanding, being passive, the scattered knowledge, the wasted time, it all boils down to one massive problem. It fails to build the one thing you need most on exam day, real confidence. Sure, you might watch a motivational video and feel pumped for an hour, but that's like a sugar rush. It doesn't last. Because real confidence isn't some fuzzy feeling. It's a result. It's the byproduct of knowing, without a doubt, that you have systematically covered your entire syllabus, that you've revised, that you've crushed previous year's question papers. That's where true, unshakable confidence comes from. And just clicking from one random video to the next, it can never ever give you that solid foundation. It just leaves you feeling anxious when the clock starts ticking. Okay, so if jumping from video to video is a dead end, what's the highway to success? Well, it's all about building a structured plan. It's about putting the books and the syllabus first. It's about you taking back control from the YouTube algorithm. A structured plan is literally the perfect fix for every single problem we've talked about. Look at this. It gives you depth, a logical flow, it's aligned with what you actually need to know, and best of all, it forces you to be an active learner. This is where you get better at recalling information and writing strong answers. You start with the syllabus, that's your roadmap. Then you use textbooks as your main vehicle. That is how you build the mental muscle for attention and recall. So, let's bring this all home. What does this really mean for you? It's all about a mindset shift. It's about going from being a passive viewer to an active victor. And this quote right here says it all. YouTube can introduce a topic. Books and structured preparation make you exam ready. Look, nobody's saying you should delete your YouTube app. It can be an awesome tool. If you're stuck on a really tough concept, a quick video can be great for an introduction. But you have to know its place. It's the appetizer, not the main course. The real work, the stuff that actually gets you selected, that happens away from the screen, with your books, your notes, and your plan. So at the end of the day, it really comes down to this choice. Do you want an introduction or do you want mastery? Are you going to keep collecting random puzzle pieces with no idea what the final picture looks like? Or are you going to build a solid, structured path that leads directly to the deep mastery you need to succeed? So that's the big question I want to leave you with today. As you get ready for your next study session, just ask yourself, how will you build your exam-ready foundation? Are your methods just making you familiar with the material, or are they building that rock-solid foundation you need for real success? It's a choice, and the power to make it is all yours.